I'll write to him right now, then. Just a second. Where are my slippers?
Make it a warm, friendly letter and long.
Oh, right.
But don't tell him I asked you, please.
Well, now that goes without saying, doesn't it, Mrs. Elfred?
That is killing two birds with one stone.
What do you mean?
Well, didn't you realize I wanted to get rid of him?
Yes, to write the letter.
And so I could talk to you alone.
About this same thing?
Exactly.
But there's nothing more to say about it, Mrs. Tessman. Honestly, nothing.
Yes, there is. A lot, I can tell. Come here. Let's sit on the sofa. Let's sit and have a nice private conversation.
But I really meant to be going.
Oh, I'm sure you can't be in that much of a hurry. Now, tell me something about what sort of life you lead at home.
That's the last thing I want to talk about.
Even to me? After all, my dear, we did go to school together.
Yes, but you were a grade above me, and I was terribly frightened of you in those days.
Frightened? Of me?
Yes, terribly frightened. When we met on the stairs, you used to pull my hair.
Oh, no, I didn't. Did I?
Yes. And once you said you wanted to burn it off.
Yes, but that was just fooling about. You must know that.
Yes, I was so foolish in those days. But anyway, since then, since we left school, I mean, we've drifted such a long ways apart. We've moved in completely different circles.
Well, now's our chance to come together again. But listen, we used to be very close friends at school. I mean, we used to call each other by our Christian names.
I don't think so. I think you're mistaken.
Of course I'm not. No, I remember it distinctly. So let's be friends again, as we were before. And you must call me Heda.
You're very kind to me. I'm not really used to kindness.
It's all right. I'll be your friend again as I was before and call you Tora.
Taya, it is actually.
Taya, yes, that's right. That's what I meant. Taya, dear, you're not really used to kindness, not even in your own home.
Well, perhaps if I had a home, but I haven't. I never have had.
I thought it might be something like that.
Yes. Yes, yes.
Now, I can't quite remember, but when you first went to the Elfsteds, didn't you go as a housekeeper?
No, a governess they took me on as in the first place, but his wife, his first wife, I mean, was very ill and bedridden most of the time. So I had to look after the house as well.
Until in the end it was your house.
Yes, that's right.
Now, let me think. How long is it since you,
Since I was married?
Yes.
5 years.
Yes, that's right. It must be.
It was 5 years. Especially the last 2 or 3 of them. You can't begin to imagine what it's been like, Mrs. Tessman.
Mrs. Tessman! Really, Taya?
Yes. I'm sorry. I'll try. Hedda, you can't begin to imagine what it's been.
Eiler Loveborg's been up with you for about 3 years, hasn't he?
Either Loveborg, yes.
Did you know him before when you were living here?
Not really, no.
But when you
I
moved-
heard of him, obviously.
When you moved to the country, you saw quite a lot of him.
Yes, he used to come by every day to give the children lessons. In the end, I found I couldn't manage it all.
Oh, no, I
on
can
my own.
understand that. What about your husband? Does he do a lot of traveling?
Yes, being sheriff, he has to do an awful lot of traveling in his district, but I'm sure you know that, Mrs. Hedda.
Poor Taylor. Listen. You are going to tell me everything now. The whole situation.
It's easier if you ask the questions.
What kind of man is your husband, Taya? I mean, what is he like at home? Is he good to you?
I think he believes that everything he does is for
It's
the
just
best.
I'm realizing now he's probably rather old for you, isn't he? He's 20 years older, I think.
Yes, there's that. And there are other things. Everything about him disgusts me. We have nothing in common, not a single
But he's
thought.
fond of you in his own way, isn't he?
You don't know what he is. I'm useful to him anyways, and I think that's about as far as it goes. And I don't cost him very much. I'm very cheap.
Well, that's very silly of you.
I haven't got a choice now with him. I don't think he cares about another person aside from himself. Perhaps the children.
And Eilert Loveborg.
Eilert Loveborg? What makes you
Well,
say
if he
that?
sent you all the way into town to look for him. Or at least I thought that's what you said to Tessman.
Was it? Yes, I suppose it was. I may as well tell you the truth. It's bound to come out sooner.
What is it, Taya?
Well, to cut a long story short, my husband didn't know I was coming.
What? Well, did you know anything about it?
Of course not. He wasn't even at home. He was off traveling. I just felt I couldn't stand it any longer, really, Heda, being up there so completely on my own.
So
I packed my things, what I needed most, and as discreetly as I could, I left.
without telling anyone?
Yes, and I caught the train into
But
town.
Taya, my dear, I don't know how you dare.
What else could I have done?
What's your husband going to say when you get back?
Back to him?
Yes!
No, I'm not going back ever.
So you've left home now? For good?
Yes, there didn't seem to be any alternative.
What, openly, just like that?
Well, you can't very well keep a thing like that secret.
Taya, my dear, what do you think people are going to say about all of this?
I don't know. They can say what they like. What I did because I had to.
So what are you thinking of doing now? What's your next move?
I don't know. All I know is that if I'm going to live at all, it must be here where Eilert Loveborg is.
Taya, tell me how this friendship developed between you and Eilert Loveborg.
Well, it happened gradually at first, and after a time I found I had a kind of power over him.
Really?
Yes, and he began giving up his old habits. And not that I asked him to, I never would have dared. But I'm sure he saw how much they upset me, and he just abandoned
It's a
them.
little Taya to the rescue, you might say.
Well, that's what he says anyways. And in return, he taught me how to be a real human being. How to think and understand all kinds of things.
So he gave you lessons as well, did he?
Not lessons, really. He talked to me. He talked endlessly about everything. And there was a wonderfully happy time where he let me share in his work.
But he let you do that?
Yes, anytime he wrote anything, we did it together.
Soulmates, were you?
Soulmates. It's funny, Heda, that's what he used to say. I should be gloriously happy, but I can't because I don't know how long it's going to last.
Don't you trust him any more than that?
There's still something between Eilert Loveborg and me. The shadow of a woman.
Who?
I don't know. Someone from his past.
What has he told you about her?
He's only ever made one casual reference.
And what did he say?
He said that when they had to part, she threatened to shoot him with her pistol.
Nonsense. People never behave like that.
No, which is why I think it must be that red-headed singer.
Yes, very probably.
I heard about her. I heard she used to carry loaded
Well, then it
guns.
must have been her.
Yes, but the thing is, I've heard the singer is in town, and I'm so desperate.
Shh, I hear Tessman coming. Taya, all of this is between you and me. Yes, for God's sake, please.
Well, here's my missive, signed and sealed.
Good. I think Mrs. Elvsted needs to be going now. Wait a minute, I'll show her through the garden
Oh,
gate.
Heda, perhaps Berta better take care of this.
Yes, I'll tell her.
Madam, Judge Brock is here. He says he'd like to see us.
Yes, show him in.